In today's video, I want to give you my step-by-step strategy on how I eliminated my piriformis syndrome. Yes, I woke up one day about 3 weeks ago with radiating pain down my left leg. I made some mistakes, but I also had some massive victory in figuring out what exactly I should do. I want to package that up and give it to you so you can model it if you are struggling with piriformis syndrome. Exercise should be a #1 strategy in your weekly routine. If it's not, if you're afraid of exercise or if your exercises that you're doing now is causing sensitivity, let's fix it. I've got a free guide that you can use. Take it, print it off, it's yours forever. Get it at fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. I'll walk you step by step on how exactly you should be structuring your workouts, from the core training, from the exercise choice, and everything in between. It's yours. fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. The first question I asked myself when I woke up with that pain was, what did I do? Obviously. The second question that I asked myself was, should I be stretching this or should I be strengthening this? And that is kind of like the big question that you have to ask yourself when you are actually dealing with piriformis syndrome. Make sure you actually have piriformis. I'm not gonna cover how to diagnose yourself. There's tons of videos on that you can do, but now we're assuming you have it. Now we have to figure out what you're actually going to use to get out of the pain. So the first thing I wanna do is kind of decipher between whether I had long or short form kind of piriformis syndrome. Essentially, we're just kind of looking at whether or not I need to strengthen or stretch my piriformis. Now, the way I did this is simply just kind of testing myself. This is not a super science-backed strategy. It's just a starting point to see if there is any major differences. I personally ran into something that's gonna be very confusing and very frustrating for most people, but I wanna show you how I navigated that when I get there. First thing I did was sit on a chair and I had my painful side, I hiked it up over my right knee, just like you would be doing a piriformis stretch, and I kind of like eyeballed myself, looking in a mirror, eyeballing to see where's my left knee at, right? Then I did the same thing with my right leg, hiked it up over my left knee, and I was seeing where my right knee is at. What I'm looking for is if you have a short piriformis, then your knees are gonna be higher, or if we're talking about the painful side, your painful side knee will be high. If you have long form, then that means your knee is sitting kind of almost parallel with your knee. What that's revealing is just simply saying, hey, if it's super long, if my leg is sagging down, that's the painful one. If my knee's sagging down, then I probably should be strengthening that side to build some stability. If it's super hiked up, it could mean that my piriformis is short, which means I need to focus more on the mobility or the stretching side of it to hopefully get it to relax. Now, true to form with my chronic back pain history, nothing came that simple. Now, I didn't have either one of them. Both sides were relatively the same. Yes, my left side was a little bit different, but that's normal. It's not uncommon to have a difference in your right and left leg. So I had to kind of abandon this short and long form strategy and just kind of go with what I know to do. So what that led me to do is do some testing. And once I did my testing, I asked 3 questions. Did it make it better? Did it make it worse? Or did it keep it the same? So what I started to do is just do some basic piriformis stretches. There's lots of different types of piriformis stretches. The main thing is just to watch heavy rotation. If you're trying to stretch the piriformis, you have to be mindful of your low back. But ultimately, I'm just simply finding some good stretches that worked for me and pulling my leg over, getting that stretch and testing that, doing that for a couple of days. I think it was like 2 days max, and asking myself, did it make my pain worse? Did it make it better? Or did it keep it the same? Now, when I was stretching it, it felt really good in the moment. Stretching any kind of irritated or tight muscle, oftentimes it can give you the illusion of feeling good. But what would happen is my piriformis would lock down even more. So after about a day to 2 days of doing that, I said, hey, you know what? This is not improving. It's not making it better. I'm not gonna keep pushing through the pain, so we have to go on to the next test. From there, the only thing you can really do is strengthen it. Once I figured out that strengthening was gonna be my go-to strategy, this is exactly the process that I took. Before any strengthening started, I focused on my lifestyle alone, the way I was sitting, the way I was standing. Everything you do will either irritate or not irritate, relax the piriformis. Focus first on the way you're sitting. Change your positions, move your leg around, find something that works for you that doesn't keep it in this overstretched or over painful situation while you're doing your daily tasks. So bring some attention to the area, modify your lifestyle, and making sure that what you're doing on a daily basis isn't making it worse. The first thing I wanna do is I picked 2 exercises to activate my glutes, and there's 2 ones that I like to do. One are just simple butt pops, and what that is you're going to take your hand, or not take your hand, but I like to have some biofeedback, and I put my hands on my glutes, and I would see if I can just contract each individual butt cheek. Right? Very simple, butt pops. Why I call them butt pops is if you do them together, you pop up. If you can't do it on your back, you can flip over and do it on your stomach. The other glute activation, nothing resistance band yet, we're just kind of hanging out, is I would do clams without a band. So I'm sitting here and I can do them in a side plank position. You can come all the way down like this, and essentially all I'm doing is just squeezing my butt before I lift off and opening it up, okay? Nothing complicated, no resistance. I'm just seeing if I can contract everything together, and I use my hand to confirm that. After some glute activation drills that you can do, start with your first exercise. I'm gonna show you 3 of them. You can do them in this order or not in this order. It doesn't really matter as long as you're doing them. So what I would do is you have a booty band, if you have one of those, or you just take your thinnest band like this, and I'm gonna wrap it around, stick my leg into it so it's looped around my knee, pull it tight around the leg that I'm not actually working, and then I'm gonna build that tension by simply just pulling it, and I'm gonna lock it down with my hands, just like that, super simple. From there, what I'm not doing is I'm not doing this type of thing, these types of fire hydrants where I'm pivoting on my toe. What I wanna do is I want to get myself in a good neutral position so I'm not overextended, lock it in, and I'm lifting my knee and my foot at the same time. You should feel a real deep glute or hip activation with this. Go nice and slow. What you don't wanna do is just kind of plow through it. Very slow, contracting and feeling the muscle that you're actually trying to activate. Even if it means when you come up to the top, you hold for a couple of seconds to make sure that you're not overcompensating in the low back and you're actually firing all the glute muscles at the same time. Second exercise is kind of like a modified side plank with a clam, but it's not really a clam, it's more of like a leg raise type of thing. Either way, just watch what I do and model it. I'm gonna get into a ready position for a side plank, adding in some clams here. So I'm in position, I'm gonna go up into my side plank, and I'm gonna push my knee out and back towards me, okay? So I'm here, I'm coming up into the plank, pushing off the ground with this leg here, and I'm pushing this top leg, that top knee out. Obviously, you're gonna do both sides, both the non-painful and the painful side, up into the plank, squeeze out, and hold for a second, and really make sure that you're activating these glute muscles. So you can go through the motions, you can use your low back, and you can overcompensate in certain areas, making sure that you're firing these glutes and actually contracting them to their fullest potential. Third and final exercise are monster walks. I would do a banded variation of this. Take my band, you can go as heavy or as light as you need. Key thing is keeping your feet pointing straight, so we're not kind of doing anything weird or any kind of weird external rotation or internal rotation. Just try to keep them nice and straight. Other thing is we're doing choppy steps, so we're not doing this, bringing our feet together, this. We're not doing that or anything like that. What we're doing is we're trying to build tension. Tension's built, hold it, chop, chop, chop. So I'm focusing on everything being nice and straight here, and I'm also focusing on contracting and keeping these glutes contracted the entire time. Reps and sets will vary. I personally, for this exercise here, I remember doing 3 sets of 15 on each leg. You can take that and run with it, or make your own variation of the reps and sets. The goal is to be consistent and actually do it. Key takeaway is really just understanding your unique situation. You have to test things. Don't just Google Piriformis syndrome relief strategies, because you're gonna get stretching and strengthening. But if you're stretching it and then you're going into strengthening it, it doesn't matter. The stretching is gonna piss it off and make it mad, and the strengthening is not gonna seem like it's working. If anything, it's gonna make it more upset. Don't forget, if you're looking to use exercise in your specific strategy when it comes to long-term chronic low back pain, grab that free guide, fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. I give you everything you need to know about building your perfect ideal workout that fits you specifically, without needing to go get MRIs or doctors or first, second, third, fourth, fifth opinions. It's yours. fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training.